And away we go. Another chance for Republican presidential hopefuls to bring their own version of shock and awe to American living rooms. Who has the most to lose? Will Trump and Cruz break from the podium and go for the turnbuckle? And has the kiddie table already become the land of complete invisibility? This as the Republican Party is being once again split asunder after Nikki Haley's post-Obama comments this week. But why not just open the wounds full bore and get this infighting out in the open, seeking to heal the party? The latest round of birther bombast simply won't go away. Let's stop all the nonsense and go hardcore. We're going to settle this issue about Ted Cruz once and for all with the experts. And I, for one, have had it with these candidates and lemmings who say the American dream is dead or even on life support. Join me for Telling It Like It Is, where we take these American bashers to the woodshed with the help of a Canadian. Let's see if you can handle the truth, all right? I'm Ed Berliner. Strap in for the Hardline, Thursday, January the 14th, 2016.
We need to be the governing party if we're going to fix these things. And the pursuit of that, of protecting the conservative cause, it's being hijacked by Donald Trump, who's not a conservative. And others are cautious about expressing this because, God forbid, you get into a Twitter war with a guy who has a lot of free time on his hands, I guess. So I just think it's important to fight this fight. I don't know what the consequences politically for me are, but I do think it's important that the Conservative Party nominate a conservative.
It is all about consequences right now. Iowa's getting bigger every day in the windshield. Poll numbers are changing faster than excuses for not winning the Powerball. Republican officials are mum on rumors of setting up a steel cage match for Donald Trump and Ted Cruz to settle their differences. And by the time we strike midnight tonight, this party has got to cut down even further and begin to focus on real contenders, or allow the Democrats to continue having hope they will own the day in November. The stage is set. The gloves are on. Let's go ahead and get to work. Joined now by the founder of Tea Party Nation and also an attorney, which qualifies him for hazard pay when dealing with Washington politics. Judson Phillips joins us on the show. Judson, good to see you again. Well, you have to admit it is right. When you deal inside Washington, you need all the hazard pay you can get and a lot of insurance as well. All right, let's get started on this. The one thing that everybody, I think, wants to know at this point. This is a packed stage at the debate again. The kiddie table, we've got Rand Paul and Carly Fiorina have been sent down. But is it not fair to say that right now, they've got to cut down? The Republicans have got to cut this down. We've got to focus on front runners after this one. So this is a real make or break for a lot of people tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, really, there's only three people who matter in the debate tonight. That's Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, and Ted Cruz. Jeb Bush and John Kasich, they're just glorified potted plants standing up there. They're props. And, the next debate really needs to be the top three guys because, the Republicans, unlike the Democrats, don't schedule their debates at 10 p.m. on Christmas Eve. They like people to watch their debates and see what the Republicans have to say. And we need to get the leaders out there so we can go ahead and get this thing settled and then move on and make sure that Hillary Clinton is not the 45th president of the United States.
Now, before we go one step further, you talked about potted here. Let's go ahead and talk about Jeb Bush for just a moment. He put out a brand new ad today going head on right after Donald Trump. Here it is.
Just one other thing, I got to get this off my chest. Donald Trump is a jerk.
Donald Trump facing new criticism for something he did on the campaign trail last night in South Carolina. He appeared to mock a reporter with a disability.
Yeah, you got to see this guy. I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
Life is precious. I think life is truly a gift from God. And we're all equal under God's watchful eye. That's what I believe. And when anybody disparages people with disabilities, it sets me off. That's why I called him a jerk. What kind of person would you want to have in the presidency that does that? At what point do we say enough of this? Let's start solving problems.
Judson, did he just take Donald Trump's bait?
Actually, I think he just put me to sleep.
Oh, come on now. Come on. He is. Look, let's be honest here. Jeb is a guy who's very passionate about certain things. He speaks about this with a very passionate voice. But let's get it to this point right now. Jeb Bush is not known as an attack artist. He's not a reality star. So going after somebody like this, didn't he just basically take Donald Trump's bait and put himself in a bad light?
He has not learned. Every time he's gone after Donald Trump, Trump goes up, he goes down. Isn't insanity defined as trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? He keeps doing that. And, honestly, Jeb Bush, God bless him, goodbye. Go retire. Go do something else. You're not going to be the 45th president of the United States. So let's clear you and Mr. Kasich and a couple of these other folks out of the way, and let's let the real Republicans, the real contenders, get up there and settle this issue.
Okay, so let's go ahead and deal then with those contenders, those who've got to get up. Ted Cruz has got to step up tonight. He has got to be good on the attack, and let us be very honest here and try to be nonpartisan about it here. He has got to make some inroads against Donald Trump. Maybe Marco Rubio as well, whom we'll talk about in a moment. But Donald Trump says he's going to go after Ted Cruz in this one. So Cruz has got to be ready for it. He has got to be taking him on head on. Would you not agree?
I agree. He's got to take him on. And Ted Cruz is a master debater. Do not get me wrong on that. I admire this guy's skill. He's an incredible lawyer, good debater. But the other thing he's got to do tonight, he's got to deal with this stupid birther issue. Because
now, wait a minute. Hang on a sec. I want you to say that again, Judson. This stupid birther issue. Do we not agree that this is settled? It's over. It's done. Walk away from it. Come on.
It is insanely stupid. It is beyond stupid. Ted Cruz is a natural-born citizen. How many languages do we have to say that in before people understand it?
Then why is Donald Trump continuing to hammer away on it when you've already said, and I believe you already said, that you're in favor of Donald Trump, yes?
Yeah, Ted Cruz is my guy. I like Donald Trump. I don't have many bad things to say about him. But, you know, Trump is doing this, and it's kind of smart on Trump's part, and I will give his team credit for some strategy here. It's making some people who might go to Cruz kind of have second thoughts about it, because maybe Cruz is eligible, maybe he's not, but the Democrats are going to do something with this in the fall. And guess what? If they do something with it in the fall, maybe that screws up the Republicans' chances for the White House. So I understand Trump's strategy. And who knows, if I was one of Trump's advisors, I might be telling him to do the same thing.
All right.
But for the people who are listening to this stuff, it's garbage.
Thank you. I'm so glad somebody else said it out loud, because I've been saying this now for a week. It's been proven. We hear all the lawyers. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about it later in the show with a couple of lawyers and people who are involved in this. One saying that, yes, he is a citizen. Others saying, no, he's not. But that's just a foreshadow of things to come. Okay, we talked about Ted Cruz. Now we agree he has got to go on the offense here. He's got to take on Donald Trump. When you look at Marco Rubio, there are those who say, and the RNC, the reports came out earlier this week, basically told Ted Cruz and others, don't go after Marco Rubio, because there are those saying that he is the establishment choice. He is the only establishment choice, the only logical choice, and they still believe that he will be the one to push himself out of this mix. I'll bet you don't agree with that.
From an analysis point of view, I agree with you. He is the establishment choice. He's the last establishment guy standing, and they are hoping and praying that Ted Cruz and Donald Trump will slice and dice each other apart, sort of like the conservatives did in 2012, where if you remember Mitt Romney, after South Carolina, they rolled into Florida, and Newt Gingrich had just torn everybody up. Newt Gingrich was on top. Suddenly in Florida, Romney carpet bombed with the advertising, and guess what? It was all Romney after that. And that's what the establishment is hoping will happen again this time, except this time it'll be Rubio. And that's their big hope. And good news here is I don't think that's going to happen.
But would you not agree, though, that there is a big part of the Republican committee, the Republican management, if you will, who is hoping that tonight is, however he can do it, the way for Marco Rubio to punch through and make a couple of dents here? Because you and I both know, we've talked about this before, it's nothing new here. This is no secret. There are people in the Republican Party who don't want Donald Trump, they don't want Ted Cruz, and they believe they cannot beat Hillary Clinton unless they get a Marco Rubio.
Well, they don't want Donald Trump because of certain issues Donald Trump stands on. They don't want Ted Cruz because Ted Cruz is a principled conservative. He's not one of the Chamber of Commerce Republicans who will just do whatever the Chamber of Commerce bids them to do. So that's why they don't like Cruz and Trump. And you're right. They are sitting there. They are praying to whatever deity they believe in, that Donald Trump will say something insanely stupid that will finally sink his campaign, that Ted Cruz will get tongue-tied on the birther issue and slaughter himself, and Rubio will emerge as the great rhino hope.
You got to agree, though, there are those people, what you just said, waiting for Donald Trump to implode, say something stupid. You'll find a lot of people who will say that he's already said a lot of things stupid, yet people still come and they want Donald Trump. Is he now, I got 30 seconds, 40 seconds left on this. Is he simply just Teflon? There's nothing he can do wrong at this point that will do anything to his standing and lose any of his followers.
Donald Trump is successful at this point because he keeps attacking. He never apologizes. And because he doesn't apologize, he doesn't go off message. It doesn't push him back. Cruz has gotten pushed back a little bit on the birther issue, and that's kind of hurt him a bit. Donald Trump never does that. He attacks.
Then what's going to hurt him? Then if he's not Teflon, then what's going to hurt him?
Losing. If he does not win in Iowa, Donald Trump's big selling point right now is, I'm huge, I win. Well, guess what? If you don't win in Iowa, particularly if it's by a significant margin, particularly if you come in third or fourth, suddenly you're not winning anymore, and that aura of invincibility, of inevitability is gone.
See, there you go, people. This is the kind of emotion that we got to hear at the debate, and I think this is what people want to hear from everybody right now. Of course, a little more measured. Judson and I can get away with it, of course, because we're just doing the show here. Judson Phillips, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk soon. Don't forget, we will cover the debate, and the post-debate special begins tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific time, with all the analysis you will ever need. Who won, who lost, and who's going home. Stay with us. The fastest 60 minutes of news continues.